Okay, we're gonna make a video for everyone here about the UH-1H Huey, which is made by Bell. It first came out in the 50s and was widely used in the Vietnam War. It was also known as a helicopter war, and this was one of the workhorses which came out near the end of the war. So this is the H model. And we're going to show you guys how to start this up. For purposes of this video, I'm going to get rid of the pilot body so you guys can see what's going on here a little bit better. And we'll have our co-pilot over here join us, and in a moment we'll have some rear door gunners. And then we can go over all the things that we can do. This is DCS, also known as DCS World, just also known as Digital Combat Simulator, which is free. The Huey is not, but you can purchase it later if you like the simulator itself. We're flying in the Persian Gulf, which is a mission you can download and buy, or a map, sorry. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to show you guys how to start this up. So normally you would do a pre-flight inspection, make sure everything is switched to where it should be, which it normally starts out this way, so we'll skip all that. So if you were to jump in this Huey and you wanted to start her up, first thing you're going to want to do, okay, first thing I better get the controls all set up here. Alright, you're going to want to make sure you have some control in your cyclic. Okay, this is the joystick thing in front of you. Okay, it's called cyclic. Okay, you want to make sure you have some control in the blades. Okay, if you really want, you could have, if you had a crew chief outside, he could take a look for you and make sure you have movement. Okay, now let's go back inside here. Okay, so quick explanation of the cyclic in case you guys don't understand basic principles of helicopter flight yet. So if we're to push the stick forward, okay, the cyclic, if we push it forward, that's going to pitch the helicopter forward. Okay, so we're going to tilt forward. Okay, if we pull back, we're going to pitch back, and the helicopter's going to go either backwards if it's in a hover, or it's going to pitch up if it's in mid-flight. Okay, same like an airplane. Roll left, roll right. Okay, which you don't want to roll an aircraft, helicopter, sorry, not this model, or you'll break off the main rotor and you'll plummet to your death. So, no crazy off-axis stuff yet. Well, you guys can get into crazier flying later. So helicopters all like small movements, really relaxed, tiny little movements. Okay, so next is your collective. Okay, you want to make sure you have control of your collective. Okay, you can also look at the pitch. Will change on the main rotor blade, which causes either lift, okay, or if you push the collective down, you're gonna go down. So pull. If you want to go up, you pull up on the collective. Okay, this is straight up. Okay, push down and you will go down. Okay, and the last but not least are your anti-torque pedals. Okay, and the bottom this is Bell Huey. Okay, so you have a left pedal and a right pedal. Okay, this is to turn the aircraft left and right. Okay, in an airplane it would be yaw left, yaw right. Okay, so it's just a straight left, straight right. Okay, if you were to be exterior and do a rotor check, okay, this is affecting your main tail rotor. Well, I guess you only have one tail rotor, sorry. So if you were to twist that right, or sorry, if you're hitting your pedal left, right pedal, okay, so we have control in there. Okay, these are visual inspections. that you would be doing. Okay. And hopefully this is going to take like an hour, so I'll try to go through it fairly quickly here. So now we're basically ready to start up. So everything, all the switches and gauges are pre-checked. We've gone over that. You guys, if you really want to do a pre-flex checklist, you can go and do that. It's going to take you a lot more time shaving, about 20 minutes off this video by not doing that. So anyway, if you're going to start it up, first thing you're going to do, you're going to look at your throttle on the collective. Okay, it's going to start in a locked out position. Okay, no matter what you do to start up the chopper, it ain't going to work till you take that out of idle. Okay, so you're going to throttle all the way up just to make sure. Throttle all the way down. You can do that a few times just to make sure it's open and unlocked. Okay, you're going to leave that alone now. We're going to turn on our hydraulics and our force trim. Okay, these are the two buttons right here. Sorry, I'm not going to lean in much because you guys are going to see those bars from VR. So, hydraulics and force trim is on. Okay, if you guys have weapon systems, you're going to arm your flares. I don't believe you guys in Vietnam had flares yet on your chopper. This is something that came later. So there's going to be some changes in avionics here, whoever watches this video. I'm going to do this kind of like for all ages, all things, kind of like a historical / DCS thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you guys had flares at that point, or maybe you just popped some off your door gunner there if you saw something coming in. Okay, don't arm it yet. This is where you'd arm it, and that's where you dispense your flare if you manually do it. You guys can set this up with your controls if you want. Okay, if you guys have rockets, which we probably won't in this video, I want to keep the chopper fairly light for instructional purposes, but the switch here up would be rockets, the switch down is miniguns. We'll probably get minis, so we'll probably arm that later. And if you guys had rocket pods, you could jettison them here with the switch. Okay, if you had an emergency, or say you just use all your rockets mid-flight, you can drop them. Alright, so sorry to distract you there. We won't turn on the fuel just yet. Okay, normally you could just start out with the battery on, so maybe we could do that right now. Okay, it's going to be an annoying beep. You're going to find that switch right here, right beside your fuel. Okay, so you see you guys are struggling, and you don't want to hear. It's kind of annoying, so that's why I turned it off really quickly here for you guys. This is your master caution alarm. It's your low RPM warning beep. Okay, so you can always test, make sure it works. Yeah, all right, I turn her back off again. So up here, guys, according to the startup sequence, sorry, I get tongue twisted here, sequence from the in-game. You guys are going to want to put the switch from your AC power to AC phase. Okay? Right up here. Next, we're going to turn our main generator on. Okay, if you guys want, you can flip the switch closed. It doesn't matter at this point. Okay, over here, we're going to switch this to, sorry, this way, the ESS bus. Okay. And to make sure the battery's on, but you guys will see this lighting. At this point, if you guys want, if we'll make this fairly realistic, we can turn on our anti-collision lights. I'm going to dim the exterior lights because they're really, really bright, and I'll show you guys here. So we're going to have a whole bunch of sets of lights on. Okay, so the red one is their anti-collision, which is above the exhaust fan. And then on the co-pilot side, they'll be red, and the pilot side, they'll be green. Okay, you can set those to flash or steady, light or dim. And we won't cover the other lights in here. These are for nighttime. and they're pretty much pointless in the day, unless you want to blind someone with a spotlight. That's not really that realistic quite yet. Okay, so we can turn on our fuel. Okay, you guys will hear it come on. Hey, if you guys haven't already done it, you can always recheck your throttle. Make sure it's open. But shut off again, like just out of idle but on. You guys will know what I mean once you've tried it. Here we're going to test our caution panel lighting. Make sure it's working. I'm going to hold that down for a few seconds. Okay, looks good. Okay, we're ready to start. So this is the only difference in the game. All simulator, one would say, and there's always an argument over this, but let's not debate that right now. Normally there's a trigger starter on the throttle, or the collective. I believe in real life, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. In game, there's no button for that. You have to hold the button on the keyboard. But so we're gonna hold that down, and now we're gonna look at our gas producer. You see, it's a home button on the keyboard, by the way. We're going to look at our gas producer, make sure it goes above 10 and the rotors start spinning, which they have. And we're going to go wait all the way to just above 40. Between 40 and 50. Okay, and then we're going to let go of your starter. Okay. It's going to keep spooling up. Okay, you're going to see your RPM gauge go up quite a bit, but not all the way. Okay, eventually it's going to be in the green. Things are in the green. These will be up and up. Okay, our battery power is pretty good here. We can go ahead and turn on some of these avionics. I'm not going to talk about them very much. If you're in a game, this is a right click. Right click on that. Sorry, I missed it. Right click. This is for communication transmit receive. And for the purposes of navigational instruction brief, we will turn this to an ADF heading, and in here we'll do an ADF heading. So I believe, since we're near Dubai, we'll cue that in. It would be a long flight. We have enough fuel to get there, but we're not going to do that. It's just going to cue it in to show you guys what I'm talking about here later. And I believe it is 265 on the ADF. Let's see if it locks in. Yep. Alright, we'll turn that on in a moment here. Okay, you can arm your weapons at this point, if we had any. So, I'm wondering if I should get the door gunners out, but maybe we'll do that another time. We'll keep this a non-weapon system, so normally you can get either, here I'll show you guys here what I'm talking about. If you get this, you can change the amount of fuel, okay, if you have flares or no flares. Basically, if you want no flares in a complete true slick, you'll remove the hard points in the editor, which are these weapon mounting systems on the side here, and it'll lighten the total weight as well. In here, you can have mini guns. This is for the pilots. Or you can have mini guns for your door gunners, rocket pods. You can have the smaller rocket pods. You shoot parachute, illumination. You can shoot smoke bombs, normal rockets, and but we won't go into that right now. And then if you want, you got all different kinds of paint, exterior paint you can change around there, but we won't do that right now. So anyway, hopefully I only waste a little bit there. I'm sure you guys would prefer just to see the helicopter than doing some other random shooting stuff. As we go up here, we can take a look. We have our exterior temperature gauge. Looking like we're sitting at about 20 degrees Celsius outside. As we go through here, we can turn our starter generator switch to standby generator. And our inverter will come on. And you guys, if you listen really carefully, when I do the switch, you will hear the inverter come on. Okay. Lighting's already on. If it was cold out, below zero, you have a de-icing system. And then cabin heating and your vents here. Also, there's some windshield wipers, which is not recommended to do in real life, but I'll just show you here. Because they'll scratch the windshield. It's not a glass. Anyway, we'll talk about, you guys will figure all that stuff out if you research her later. For this digital altimeter, which may not have been in your helicopter in Vietnam, we're going to arm that up here. And now we have to manually set it. Hold on here. There we go. And then you guys can also test that. Alright. Other things, you can test your fuel gauge. Test your fire warner system for, fire warning system. Your detection system, according to that. And this is really important here, guys. If you guys are going to use your compass to navigate and you don't want to get confused, you're going to want to synchronize these two compasses here. Okay, this one's your true compass. This one's always going to be your accurate as long as it's working. So we're about one tick off 12 towards the east. So we're going to roll that up and line that up. So if you have a bad memory, you can look at this little line here and line it up in the general area. What I like to do, it may be slightly off for actual thing, but anyway. So that ADF navigation, if we come back to that really briefly, so say you get lost and you need to find your airfield and you don't have any maps on you, but you have the code. So it's 265 and I want to fly to Dubai. I'm going to cue that 265 in and turn this ADF and this ADF. And that's got a good signal. So now up here, this radio arrow, or the arrow here, will point and beep which way I'm going to need to fly to Dubai International Airport. Hey, you guys, only works if you know the ADF headings. Alright, so let's open these back doors. Ones are open, alright. So we're flying this in VR with Oculus Rift on the computer, and basically it's VR, and I have it in the full 6 degree of freedom movement with your head, so anywhere you look, you can see, you can lean forward, lean back, and if I really want, I can get up and walk around my room and around the chopper too, which I'm not going to do in this video, but if you guys ever want to fly the Huey and you're looking for the best experience, go with VR, because there's nothing going to beat it, unless you want to fly in real life. It's going to cost you about $1,000 an hour or more. So we're all started. Let's double check this on against this bus. Okay, so I did forget something here. We have console lighting. Okay, we can turn, that's all the different consoles, center console, lower console, upper console, power console, everything. So all these are lit now. Which I like to light them, I don't know about you. Yeah. If you guys have rockets, remember to put this pairing on 1. Okay, that shoots 1 rocket from each pod at the same time if you've got it selected to all. Here, you can set right pod, left pod, same thing with the miniguns. Okay, your co-pilot can also control that. I'll show you really quickly here. We can switch the co-pilot. And if you guys prefer to fly with this seat, if you guys say you were a co-pilot and you flew this, you can fly it in this seat as well. Okay, and also if you have door gunners, you can switch and fly back there as door gunners as well, and then your pilot will fly. They kind of suck, the AI pilots, but hopefully one day we can have a full controlled crew of 4 people all at once online from all over the world. But anyway, let's go back to the main pilot seat, which is always on the right. On American aircraft and French, I believe the Mi-8, the main pilot, sits on the left, though. It's kind of strange, but one thing I forgot to mention here, guys, is this governor switch. Make sure it was on before you throttle up, way back there. So, sorry to skip that. You guys may have popped me, and I never mentioned it, but now I mentioned it, and now your guys are like, okay, good, maybe mention that, but... Okay, so... with a helicopter here, there's a bunch of things that are going to have to do. We're going to have to use the cyclic, the collective, and the anti-torque pedals all in different directions at the same time to fly the chopper, and I'll show you why in a moment here. So first, let's throttle all the way up and get this fully started. And I'll just call up the aircraft thing here. We'll give us a wind direction here. Okay, so wind really affects a Huey. Usually you'd want to fly into the wind. 195 degrees. Okay, so... yeah, pretty much so. Alright. Let's get out of this here for a minute. This is just part of the game here. I just wanted to get the wind. We won't go through a full, like, air traffic control thing, because that's completely over everyone's head there right now. Especially when we start pulling up templates. But basically, this is where we are. If you have this simulator, the button here I'm hitting is K. You can pull it up here with right shift and K and pull it up. And you can use left and right brackets to scroll through here to pull up different views of the area with your nav charts. They're a little bit hard to read here. I could lean in, but once again, you guys are going to see my boundary lines in VR, and I don't really want to have to go through that. So, those of you who are pilots, you'll be able to kind of understand what's going on here and appreciate what's available in here if you want to do it that way. So this is mostly like a combat game, but you can fly it like a simulator as well, like Microsoft Flight Sim, X-Plane 11, stuff like that. It may not be as in-depth as real, like, scenery, but it gets the job done, and I prefer to fly the Huey. So if we were to fly this right now, let me close that door, without changing the pedals or changing anything, it's going to tip. So you have to find the balancing point on a Huey. So I'll show you what happens. If you just fly this like if you're just a gamer and you come out of like Grand Theft Auto, you're like, oh, I'm like the best pilot ever, and you're like, I'm gonna jump in here and just collect the buff and I'm good to go. Watch what happens. Just collect the buff. I'm gonna start spinning and rolling all over the place. Okay, let me get rid of that caution warning light too, by the way. So when you pull up, it's gonna rotate to the right. Watch here. Okay, so to counteract that roll, it's because of this rotor spin, wanting to spin the aircraft. So we're gonna use some left pedal. Okay, counteract that. But we're still not done. We have to find a balancing point still. So we're gonna have to pull back a bit on the cyclic. Find your hovering point. Okay, so you guys should be really, really, really light on your collective when you pull up. So I'm gonna go over that again. Let me straighten out here. Show you guys what's going on. So normally you're gonna have this gauge up. I took it away because it's unrealistic, because you're not gonna fly with that in real life. Okay, so a little bit of a left pedal. You're gonna pull back a bit and a tiny bit to the left. Okay, to find that balancing point, because we don't have weapons, so it's all different. Every time you change your weight, add weapons, it's gonna change your balancing point. So you have the left pedal, pull back a little bit to the left, and we're gonna slowly pull back on the collective. And while we're doing that, let me tell you what the most important thing is of all. Next is to watch your exhaust. Okay, it's called, the short form's your EGT limit. Okay, you want to make sure that does not exceed that red line, and then if it does, it is very, very brief, and it goes back. And it should not even go over that line, because you're going to cook your engine. You can literally, the engine will go on fire, and you can have really bad issues when that happens. It usually results in a catastrophic crash, and you don't want that. So watch your exhaust, keep her below the red line as we pull up. So left pedal, pull back, cyclic, sorry. A little bit to the left, collective up, nice and slow. Okay, nice and slow. Okay, I'm still pulling up. I just don't want to show you here because I want to be looking where I'm going. Okay, see that balance point? You can find it. Just come off the skids. Okay, really small inputs, and then you can hover. Okay, don't worry about hovering too much at first. It's going to take a lot of practice. Okay, it's all hands on. If I let go of the stick, everything's gonna change. Okay, flying with a sloppy stick. You guys can use trim and lock that in. I made a video like 3 years ago about that, but I prefer to fly in a sloppy stick. Those of you who are pilots will know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so we can request a takeoff, but he already thinks I took off, so let's not bother with that. So if we're taking off with a helicopter, we're going to taxi first to where we want to take off from, if we have the runway. If not, you can take off from where you started as well. Okay, so if you really want, get set up here. I'll request to take off again, and we'll see if that'll work. Oh, no, never mind. I'll go through the whole process again. So there's a couple ways. You could do a skidding takeoff. You could do a hovering takeoff straight up. Or you could do a taxiing hovering takeoff. That's just what we're going to do right now. Okay, so we're gonna get into a hover. Okay, and then we're gonna start taxiing forward. Okay, and then we're gonna go through, it's called ETL, it's Effective Transitional Lift, which is basically where the helicopter goes through a hover into forward flight. And you're gonna start hearing that right now. Okay, remember you're watching your exhaust. Okay, okay, so you're pushing forward now on the cyclic. Sorry, I was a little tongue twistered there. Now you can, if you guys have rudder pedals and stuff, you want to straighten them out, and you're going to want to keep the ball centered, which is right there, that black little ball leaning back and forth there, the bubble. Okay, that's like your center of balance. Let me cover some of these avionics systems here before we come around and explain a landing. Two most important things you're going to want to look at here for your flight is your attitude indicator. Hey, that's same as all other plane systems. Should be self-explanatory on that, but I'll explain it in case you guys aren't pilots watching this video. This is going to show me either rolling left off axis, or rolling right, or rolling forward or back, or it's going to show me when I'm level. Okay, so if I line it up, level. Okay. Other things you need to look at. See, I'm flying off angle here so I can straighten my pedals a bit. The wind will also affect that, so I may need a bit of left pedal here to go into the wind. The other main thing I was going to mention here is your vertical airspeed indicator. So if it goes above 0, we're gaining height. If it goes below 0, we're losing altitude. If it's at 0, that is level flight. Okay? This is your altimeter. Okay? That's not always true, because this is the digital one that we have later, but this is a general sense of where you are, because this is going to give out about 1,500 feet, and this is going to take over at that point. Sometimes one may fail. Alright, so here, like before, this exhaust temperature, this is nice and low because we're flying about 60 knots. Well, 50. Let me go a little faster here. Get her above 60 maybe. That's about good enough there. As long as we don't gain any height. Keep that speed. We have a gas producer gauge, torque gauge. This is our rotor RPM gauge, so we have a tail and a main rotor. And that was our fuel warning light. RPM warning lights over here. Okay, we have engine oil, transmission oil. It's kind of hard to do this hands off, so sorry about that if you guys are wondering. These are gauges here for our battery, okay, our main generator, battery, and then the main batteries. And these are, some of these are duplicates, but the vertical speed indicator would be. And we have, this is a different compass than this one. Okay. Which also has the ADF heading in there as well. Our other attitude indicator. And your speed indicator, which is also here. And I think that about sums it up for that. So this is the real startup sequence, real close you can get to, well, it is the same as real life. If you were to jump in a UH-1H, and they had the same avionics. Okay, there may be some differences in here, but you would probably be able to start it and fly it. Wouldn't say that this should be the only tool that you use to learn and go fly a Huey by any means. No, you're going to need a proper flight instructor who knows what they're doing. And once again, cover that ADF heading. If I was to fly to Dubai International Airport, I'd swing around and head west. Like I said, we're way over here at Fujairah, and if you guys see on the map there's a red area, like a red dot. I'm pretty sure that's where Dubai is, way over there. So we can switch around here to a quick peek. If you guys were a co-pilot and you were to fly around, it may not be centered well enough here on this one. We can fly this way as well. Then you can see what my buddy normally looks like. But let's switch back to the main palette here. I'm going to do that. Alrighty. So you're flying the Huey, and how do you land? Okay, well, a couple of things you need to do. You could really do a skidding landing, but they're really dangerous. Which means if you're coming in fairly hot, without going through ETL again. So what you need to do to land with a Huey is go from forward flight into a hover. And normally to lower your altitude, instead of pitching forward, because you can mass bump and you're going to gain speed, if you want to consistently lower your speed, you're going to have to lower the collective and pull back on the cyclic. Okay, now we're going to drop, so we're going to have to pull back on the collective. Stop that. We're going to go into a hover here. I don't recommend you guys coming into a hover over trees when you're first learning. Hey, at this point you guys can figure out where you want to land. We're going to land right in here, this nice big square. Right up here. It's a fairly confined space by any means. Okay. Nice small movements. Get her into the hover, and now we're gonna go through what's called ground effect. Although it didn't do it for some reason, that was weird. Let's go find somewhere else that may do that. Okay. Normally there's some dirt and stuff and debris that gets caught up, but oh well. But I'm gonna land again here really briefly. And we'll turn off that ADF beep. And I'll do a quick brief on the exterior here. So once again, you can turn these lights off. Okay, you can either put them on steady, flashing, or off. Anti-collision light, on or off. Okay, you can open or shut the doors. It's going to affect the sound inside the chopper as well. Okay. So let's go find the airport and land it in again. Okay, so just remember small little movements. If you do crazy aggressive movements, you can mass bump. And basically what that is, you're going to move the shaft too much where it's going to break the main rotor off. And you guys should hopefully understand that when you lose your main rotor, you're not going to have a good day. Because there's no parachutes. Alright. Just gain some altitude. So normally with a helicopter, you would fly above 500 feet AGL, and AGL is short for above ground level. For a couple of reasons. So when we get up to 500 feet here, I'll show you what's going on. Okay. So under 500 feet and under a certain speed, it's called the dead man's curve. Which means that pretty much an engine failure at that point, you're pretty much gonna die. There's no point in trying to soften that blow. So in a helicopter, if you lose your main engine, or something that causes an engine failure, you can do what's called an auto-rotation. Basically, you can force the air to keep the blades moving as you land. Okay, so a couple of things that one is going to have to do if you do auto-rotate. Okay, you're going to have to make sure you throttle all the way down and push your collective all the way down at the same time. And at that point, you're going to start plummeting. So you're going to have to push forward and back really quickly on the cyclic to put her into a dive to reforce speed through the rotor. So I'm going to go back up to, let's say 1,500 feet here should be a safe example. That'll give me lots of time to find a place to land here. It's going to come up here at 1,200. You know what? Let's just do it up from 1,200 feet. Okay, so I'm going to do a recoverable one. There's two types. There's a, if I was to shut the fuel off, it'd be a catastrophic system failure and there'd be only one attempt to recover it. But since I want to recover and take off again and find the airport here at the bottom, we'll just do a normal one, manual one. So if you're training for an auto-rotation, you can throttle all the way down. Okay, now you cyclic down, or sorry, you collect it down. Now you're going to forward and back. Okay, that way you regain control. Now we're going to line up where we want to land her. I think maybe over here is some nice wide open spot. Okay, you're going to want to flare near the bottom, and I'm not touching my collective yet. Alright, I'll let you know when I do. Okay, I'm gonna pull up on the collective now. Pulling up slow. I haven't pulled up all the way yet. Pulling up. Okay, I still have a little bit left. Now I've used it all. Okay, you want to be slow. You don't want to ram her all the way up. If you pull up too quick on the collective, you'll use all of it too quickly and you'll go into a bubble. And then you'll sink back down and you'll probably end up having a fairly bad day. It may not be a recoverable auto-rotation at that point. Okay, so I'm just going to throttle back up and we can get taken off here again. Okay, if I was to shut the fuel off, we would have had to go through a huge process here. And I'm just going to wait till we get fully in the green before we hit that caution light off there. Alright, so we can take off again here. Okay, so I'll show you another way to take off. If we were to go straight up, you just have to watch your exhaust temp on this one. It's going to use a bit. And you can get up to a certain height before we pitch forward. Okay, if for some reason you find yourself in a vortex ring, if you're falling straight down too, you can pitch forward. And for the purpose of this height, I'm not going to try that because that may be the dead man's curve still, and quite sure is for another 180 feet. I'm not too sure where that airport is either, so let's figure out a way to show you guys how to do that. You can request an azimuth. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You guys are using these in the field as well for navigational assistance.
In field 1-1, request navigation assistance.
ADF my heading.
Field 1-1, ADF, you're heading
360. That's basically like north. I don't know why it didn't say 0. But whatever. Made me think for a minute. Oh, there it is. Oh no, that's a building. Another way you can figure out where you are, if you go right shift K, look, right shift and K, and you get to where you are here, really close. I guess that's the closest there. And you go right control and K. Yeah, so that was the right direction. You guys see where it says Kawar Kalb on the right, and there's purple arrow. I'm going to show another purple arrow come up here. Watch this. Okay. That's the right control and K. It's going to mark your spot on your kneeboard, and this is what pilots are using now. Instead of maps, we're using digital stuff on kneeboards, on like tablets. I'm sure you guys have backup maps too, which is always important, but alright. So I'm gonna request a landing. Get her some level flight here. I believe the airport's just over here. Show you guys the landing at the airport. Oh, just a little wind here. I'm going to go over a shut-off sequence for you guys, a full shutdown. If you guys were to land and realize, or say that you took off and you forgot weapons, you can get them at this point. It'd be fully shut down. The blades need to completely stop turning, and then the ground crew will start arming your chopper or refueling at that point. I'm gonna go a little high here because it looks like a tower. I can't tell if that's a tower or... Oh no, it's not. They're like... They seem higher up the ground there from that visual. Not sure what these little markers are. They should be like runway lights at night, probably. Okay, so if you're in forward flight, you want to remember to slow down a bit as you're coming in to land. Okay, so remember your collective down and cyclic back. Okay, it's the opposite for taking off. Alright, sorry guys, I normally do this a lot nicer, but sure it still looks fairly well. Okay, so when you come into the landing here, you can start taxiing to where you want to shut down. I got two sets of controls for my rudders because I don't have pedals yet, so they were conflicting. There we are, set up here now. Alright, so hopefully there's not a little stutter here on your end, but I'm gonna try to land right in between this and that pylon. Alright, so I'm going to try to make sure the pylon's just behind me. I don't think normally you'd want to be this close to stuff, but... Alright, I wanted that pylon behind me, so that should be about right. Alright, zoom back a bit. Yeah, that's about as good as we could get. Lining it up there. So you get really good situational awareness with the Huey when you have the VR. You might be able to see that, but if I open the window and lean out. Yeah. Alright, so if we were to shut this Huey down, first thing you're going to want to do is throttle down. Okay, you're going to hear your low RPM alarm, so shut that off. Okay, in the manual there's certain waiting times. But just to make this quicker, I'm not going to bother with that right now. So you can shut the fuel off. Okay, hydraulics off, force trim off, master off. This is off, so I'm using left click on these two on the mount. This is off, we'll turn that off. That ADF was already off, so we can reset this to 0 if you want. Turn the flares off. If your weapons were on, we can disarm them now. I'm gonna do a full shutdown, so we'll disarm that. standby generator off. Reset that to the main. That's back to the, I think, an AB. Yeah. And inverter off. That's making all the noise. And your main gen off. Console lighting off. And these lightings were already off. That's your digital altimeter. Turn that off. And then, last but not least, the battery. Okay, as soon as these rotors stop turning, sorry, you guys can call up a ground crew, rearm, repair, and do stuff like that. So maybe just for the purpose of this video, I'll do that really quickly and show you guys. Okay, if you were to pull up, say, a really heavy load, you're going to have to lighten her, because see here, you're going to be overweight. Okay, we got to get her down to 9,500 pounds. We're going to have to drop pretty much almost 20% fuel. To get her right in there. Okay, this is going to really affect your EGT, so you guys may want to fly with lighter stuff like M60 gunners and the same amount of rockets and miniguns for the front guy, but it's going to lighten her out. You see here when lighten her a bit. Then you can have more fuel. If you want, you can fly them overweight. I don't recommend that, but you got to start the dragon starts and really watch your EGT. But here, let's just do medium and show you guys what I'm talking about.
Request refueling. Request rearming. Copy.
And might as well show you the gunners at this point. Maybe just from the ground. We can arm these systems here. Here, let me turn the battery back on. Okay, I just armed this red light here. Blue is safe, red is armed, so the weapon systems are going to be armed here when they come on. If you guys are in VR and you don't know the buttons, we can pull up this here as well, which is our weaponing system for the main pilot. And you can armor in around here. Okay, this is only going to work if you have VR and 2D. You can't lean around and find that. So, this will pull up the crosshair once the inverter's on. You're not going to see it just yet, but... Oh, sorry about that. Sometimes VR does weird stuff. Do we have full crew yet? No. Okay, there we are. One more. Okay, I should say that we are fully armed now. Almost not gonna bother. Okay, and what I didn't show you before is you can switch to your rear gunners. Alright, so if you guys were door gunners, whoa, what is going on? Okay, it's wherever I look, it aims. Okay, so right on. I think 4 is the other side. Nice. Okay, so let's go back here to number 1. That's just the main pilot. I'll show you guys here what we got. Oh yeah, I better turn that on. This is miniguns. And if you were to switch to your co-pilot and you can pull up your weapon system, you can use that as well to aim. But it's not working quite yet because we're not off the ground, but Let me disable that because we shouldn't really have that inverter on here. I'm not going to do rockets on ground because that's going to hurt stuff. I'm just going to start this up real quick, guys, because we already went over how to do that before. So I'll show you the weapons really quickly, and then we'll come in and end the video. Actually, you know what? Let me just leave that off. I don't really need the lights. Alright, arm. Yeah. Okay, so there's a button here, left window, and H is in hotel in the same model here. And pull up your list. Normally this is up. I like to hide it because it looks kind of not very nice. I think of a better word to use there. You can change this with the left control and 2, 3, and 4 buttons to cycle through. If you want your door gunners to return fire if you get shot at, they can just shoot on their own or hold fire. Same with your co-pilot. Okay, but I want to have control of the weapons right now, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to hide this again. Okay, everything looks good. Good in the green. Yes, alright. It's going to take off here, and then we'll show you some weapon system. Seemed like we were lower there, but we're at 7 feet. So just break off over here. Alright, so let's pull up the targeting thing here. And I'll show you what's going on. So we'll start with miniguns like before. So miniguns, you got this crosshair thing here. Minigun gonna go in the middle circle of the outer circle. So there's 2 circles. Minigun's gonna go in the middle of that circle. So let's just say I want to shoot this blue building in the middle of the left of the 2 here, and I'm gonna shoot that right in the middle. So you get pretty descriptive where you want to go. And the last but not least, you have your rockets. So I'm switching that down in here. Okay, so down was minis, up was rockets. Maybe we'll just shoot at this graveyard of planes over here. What you want to do to find your target with this, if you find yourself flying this simulator and shooting targets, you're going to go with the upper circle, or the upper outer circle with the dash in the middle as your targeting point. Okay, I'm going to shoot this plane straight ahead. I don't believe you can kill those. So I don't know why these are all over here, but apparently they boneyard their planes quite often. We might be able to shoot a civilian one here, so guys, don't quote me on these war crimes. I believe with the civilian vehicles you can blow them up with the rockets, but we'll find that out right now. Maybe I missed him, I don't know. But anyway, gives you an idea. something you can do later, and we were over-exhausting there, I could hear it. We'll try one more. Actually, the stationary ones you can blow for sure. Oh yeah. Circle around and show you. I don't know if you guys could have seen it in time there. Go for the bus. Boom! But it didn't die, so... Anyways, not normal targets for the game, and I'm not going to cover that very much, so... Say for some reason you're flying, you've used up your rocket pods, you can eject them with this button here, and then I'll show you the exterior view in a second. Hold on, I don't want to crash while I do this. So I want to switch views really quickly and show you will they fall off. Alright, so let me get that ready. Okay, I'm gonna just... Boom. And unfortunately it's not really one you can fly with an external view very much. Well, I guess you could. There's some other cool stuff in this. So you have the flyby view. And then the view before where you can look at the main shaft and the rotors. And get nice and close here. Take a good look at Buddy, door gunner. Anyway, highly recommend y'all get this. We're coming down to 20 minutes fuel here, so this fuel gauge, we talked about that much earlier. We got 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 80 minutes, and so on. I believe it's 2 hours, 20 minutes fuel. And at 20 minutes, like in a real chopper, the 20-minute fuel light is going to come on. Uh-oh. I guess I'm getting a blur here. One moment. Sometimes VR acts up. I just like to reset this camera here really quickly and yeah, I'm gonna land on that note. It seems like VR might be acting up. Yeah. Alright. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'm going to land this really quickly here, and then we'll stop the video. And I think on that note, I'll show you guys a skidding stop if you had an emergency here, and I hope the game doesn't crash, because I haven't reset VR yet, and it's got them squiggling, so if you were to come in, well, it got fairly hot. You wanted to do a skidding stop. You gotta be really careful with those so you don't crash. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, and now we've all tabbed. There we go. Alright, well, you guys enjoy that. Hopefully we've covered everything in there, and shout out to all the veterans. If you've watched this video, God love you, and I respect your service. guys have a great day. Hopefully maybe we can get some of you in here and flying this as well.